Previously on the Future of Yachting Now.
So we're on the SunReef Eco, first eco sailing. We're in Dubai.
Our clients were very satisfied with the efficiency of the cells and how much power they actually generated.
The debut of the SunReef Eco 80 at the much anticipated Dubai Boat Show was a resounding success.
There's a lot of apprehension. Do you think it'll really work? Do you think it's the wave of the future? Is this a fad? We are on the forefront of what will be considered the norm in the yachting industry 10 years from now. Building a yacht with technology that no one else has ever seen or built.
A boat that you can operate all night long with no generator, most people don't even think that's possible. And on the eco boats, we're doing that for 4.5 days. This is somebody's dream. Somebody thought about this and then it was built.
First dip.
Everything on the SunReef 80 Eco can be powered by the sun. There's nothing else like the boat in the market, particularly incorporating the battery technology, the solar skin technology, the efficiency of the electric motors, the efficiency of the air conditioning, climate control systems, and the power management system. And I've always said, if you want to go somewhere where you've never been before, make sure you go with someone who's been there.
With this kind of a team, even though I've had 40 years of yachting experience, I've never built a boat.
Our clients made the decision to have Catamaran Company represent them in the build based really on one thing. That's our experience. The Catamaran Company is 100% catamaran yacht sales. We've worked with a number of manufacturers on electric boats. We have an extensive background on what has and hasn't worked in the past. And we also have a clear idea of what's available in the market for our clients.
But you know how building one of these boats starts? A phone call.
If you want to do something you've never done before, make sure you do it with someone who's done it successfully, and that's the Catamaran Company.
Because we got places to go. We've got people to see.
I'm going to take you downstairs. Then over here, we've got the seating area.
Oh, I'm here with CEO of Volteri, Cam Hughes. I love it. So the people spoke and you delivered. Fabulous. You know your answers. All right, good. You're good to go. You're warmed up.
Yacht Life TV, hello!
What day do you think they'll put the water in the tanks to test them?
But if not tomorrow, then Monday.
Monday, okay.
Innovation thrives in the fertile ground of shared vision, where collaboration takes root and determination blossoms into reality. We returned from Dubai refreshed and confident in our ambitions and booked our flight to Gdansk. We've been often asked, why build a yacht on the Baltic coast? Why Poland? People sometimes overlook Poland as a maritime giant. The Gdansk shipyard's prestige has its origins in medieval trade and became a maritime powerhouse in the golden age of sail. The Gdansk shipyard became a symbol of craftsmanship and innovation, attracting skilled shipbuilders and craftsmen from across Europe. During the Cold War, the Solidarity Trade Union emerged in August of 1980 at the Gdansk shipyard. The iconic image of Lech Walesa standing in the shipyard's gates became a powerful symbol of hope and resilience. The movement spread from Gdansk to all of Poland, leading to the collapse of the communist state. Today, Poland's shipbuilding industry has expanded rapidly, producing more than 25,000 boats in 2022. With 631 marinas and more than 1,000 boating-related companies, Poland is now the second largest exporter of yachts in the world, bested only by the United States. Roughly 95% of yachts produced in Poland are exported, contributing to the $1.1 billion industry. The excellent craftsmanship and business-forward thinking of the once sleeping giant is supported by the government's Polish Investment and Trade Agency, as well as the Polish Chamber of Marine Industry and Water Sports. Together, these institutions help enable investors with legal support, tax-friendly policies, human capital, and financial incentives. In 2002, when founder and visionary Francis Lapp established SunReef Yachts in the heart of the Gdansk shipyard, they set out on a mission to redefine the standards of luxury yachting, with a particular focus on catamarans. A bold move in an industry dominated by monohull designs. SunReef Yachts quickly gained attention for its groundbreaking catamaran designs. The incorporation of solar power not only aligns with the growing environmental consciousness of our times, but also sets a new standard for sustainable luxury.
Tonight, I'm in Gdansk, Poland. We were at the factory all day, completing a number of design discussions. We started out with a tour of the factory. We are going into the production yard to see our Eco 80 being built. This is the paint shed. We saw this being built in the foundation just a few months ago, and this is big enough to paint a 100-foot SunReef. Right now we're walking to go have a look at the flybridge section. That molding's completed. We've custom designed with SunReef an L-shaped bar that'll fit into this space. So coming up onto the flybridge, there'll be an ice maker, refrigerator, some storage space, trash area. These are the hard points for the helmsman's seat. This is the hard point where the steering and electronics will be, and the throttles to drive the boat. And the bimini on this boat is the largest that SunReef makes in the 80 class. So it'll go all the way from where that helm position is. And then we have a table here and a table here. These will go up and down, and they'll be open in between with an insert that fits in between these tables in case you have a large group when you're up here dining. But that's going to be a huge space to accommodate guests. It's going to be very nice.
Poland's shipyards provide us with the ultimate environment to create these masterpieces of the sea. But the process was not as easy as we had hoped. The war in Ukraine caused massive supply chain disruptions for many raw goods and labor, impacting us directly. Our team worked tirelessly to overcome these unforeseen challenges. Along with SunReef Yachts, we needed to work quick on our feet to find solutions.
The amount of transparency that we received from SunReef was great, but those meetings evolved way beyond just simply having meetings with our project manager. We were having meetings with the head of production, the head of all the project managers, our project manager's boss, who was very helpful. We felt it was very, very important for us to have our finger on the pulse of what's going on at the shipyard. Now we are going to a meeting with the new head of production to discuss some of the outstanding items we have and to get a better idea of our supply chain issues and concerns that are coming up with our build, and seeing if there's any pain points with SunReef that we can work together on.
SunReef Yachts recently welcomed Malta as their new head of production. Malta played a pivotal role in ensuring we could minimize delays during the early months of the war. Malta's dedication and expertise proved instrumental in mitigating the impact of these unforeseen circumstances.
So you guys put together 125 items. I haven't looked at it. I want to go through that.
I want to send it to Malta in advance.
So it's like a packing list kind of thing.
This is something I think we want to bring up with Malta.
Yeah.
So Steli, I saw you sent this list.
Yes.
We produced a list with the remaining items needed for the build, and with SunReef's help, we developed sourcing strategies and close collaboration with alternative suppliers.
It needed to be evaluated. They needed to determine where they're getting the parts, where they're getting the raw materials, where they're getting the labor to do this. And we went from having Zoom and once-a-month meetings with our project manager to having meetings every week. We were trying to get a head start on our project and not have anything hold it up. Now, a number of things held us up in production, but we worked with SunReef, and we knew on a weekly basis where we were. We were looking at production schedules, at materials that were coming into the shipyard. We're having our quality control team verifying that the materials were there, identifying serial numbers on large components, generators, motors, chargers, batteries, water makers, passerelles, all these things. We wanted to know where they were in the supply chain.
And for example, we agreed to use a different manufacturer for our water maker because we're aware that Sea Recovery is having difficulty with their supply chain providing water makers.
We had very realistic expectations going forward from there as to what these delays were going to be. Some of them were minor, some of them we worked through with SunReef and were able to figure out either using a different vendor, maybe building the boat out of sequence, building modules that were in a critical path earlier, and SunReef was great. They said, look, we're gonna continue on with what we know. If we need to modify something a little bit later, it's gonna be easier to do that. It's not gonna hold us up, so we moved forward with the build. And we had a couple things that we'd started to build in the boat that needed a little bit of re-engineering once we finally got technical drawings to the construction managers. SunReef was just fantastic at really being on top of their vendors and knowing what we could and should expect.
So we wish you the very best luck in accomplishing this, and I'm sure you'll do it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really keen on hands-on, so I'm looking forward to this.
You know, many times I've referred to our client as a pioneer in the industry. He was the one that was willing to say, look, I know this is going to be hard. I know it hasn't been done before, but I trust we'll be able to do it. So we're going to work together and figure it out.
On the next episode of The Future of Yachting Now.
And today we're just going to go through the boat with our captain and have a look at the progress. Starting to see that the floor panels are getting bonded in.
It's, I think, a full package of eco solutions, right? You got the solar combined with the batteries, everything being energy efficient, being autonomous, and enjoying the seas on a whole new level. It's a normal thing, you know, to have a little bit of apprehension, especially when you're doing something pioneering, something new. You can only achieve, you know, great things if you take risks, and
you got to try.
Yes, that's part of the journey. That's what makes it exciting.
We've just come back from sailing on the Gunboat 55 Vandal. I think when you saw this boat last, we had some shots of it in Rhode Island when it was in Bristol. Some work was being done to it there. Today was a bit of a sea trial to run the boat. These brand new black carbon fiber sails performed perfectly today. They have really, really great shape, huge square top main. We had about 13 to 18 knots of wind today. We got the boat up to 14 knots. We flew the Furling Code 0. You can see that all the way there on the front. This is the Solent. We had that up when we were going upwind. This is a Spinnaker. The wind had picked up to about 17 knots today.
Chris, you and I were just talking about the sails, the new sails that are on this boat.
Yeah.
What's the sail off that got these?
Doyle.
Doyle.
Yeah, Doyle up in Newport did the A5 and the main.
Very nice. You guys have had this Solent for a little while, right?
Solent's a few years old, still in pretty good shape.
That's North Sails. It looks pretty good. Well, I think one of the things that's nice about this, I mean, it's a performance boat, but it's really been used for performance cruising all its life. And we're just heaving to while we're getting the drone up for our shot. And I was really surprised at how well the boat tracked. And even with the Solent backwinded, which is, you know, almost 100% jib, the boat still had the ability to steer up towards the wind. And I think that's part of the balance of the rig, where the boat's really designed to carry a much bigger head sail, which when we had the Code 0 up today, doing 14 knots, it seemed to balance quite well.
Yeah, you don't feel overpowered in this one. It's not, you don't feel too crazy. It feels very comfortable on the helm, not too much weather helm. Yeah, I think it's really well suited. I think the rig layout, I think the new sails came out nice. And yeah, this is kind of the first time we've let it rip, and it feels good.
In this scene here, you can see how light Vandal is. You can see that there's hardly any wake on the starboard hull, and the majority of the load and resistance is on the port hull. And you can see how well it tracks through the water.
There's new sea deck on the deck. This is like a foam material. It's got a great non-skid property. It feels good on your feet. It doesn't get hot. Got a number of lines replaced on the boat, so those are all updated. We've had some detailing done on it. Lots of small things that the owner was aware of. Wanted to get those finished up. We've got a couple small things. There's a Cunningham line here that we're going to be replacing. That's really about it. We're super happy with the way the boat performed. One of the things I wanted to see, I've sailed a number of these gunboat 55s. This one has keels instead of dagger boards. I wanted to feel how that balanced, and it felt good. It has a little bit more helm than I think the dagger boards do, particularly going upwind. Feels like it tracks really well.
But to me, it feels like the keels, maybe it's because it's so much lateral resistance, the boat seems to get on line and track and accelerate very quickly. Where I find the boats with the dagger boards seem to fall off a little bit, and then as they gain speed and get that lateral resistance, then I feel like they start tracking again quite well. So yeah, we were cruising at 14, no problem, for quite a while, and that was in 14 to 17 knots of wind. And then, you know, we're still doing 10 and a half, 11 here on the autopilot, sailing pretty close hull.
It's such a marginal difference. I don't think really many people would notice that unless they have experience specifically sailing gunboats in particular. But anyone who sailed any cruising catamaran would be super impressed with the performance. It's completely a different experience being able to sail, you know, 35 degrees off the wind going upwind, and easily sailing in the low to mid-teens with very little effort. And what's beautiful about it's a short-handed sailing boat. So the Solent tacks here on this track. So as we tack through the wind, it was very easy to go back and forth without any issue. When we were going upwind, we had a couple waves come through, but this area, it's December in Florida. This area right here can be enclosed. You can run everything from the boat there. I think it's a great design, be offshore, but not having to be in the middle of the elements.
The throttler control here is handled by a hydraulic ram in the back. Same thing with the main sheet. The main sheet has a hydraulic cylinder inside the boot that trims it in and out.
All right, well, this was a good sail. I'm glad we were able to run it and test all the systems. Everything went really well. We were able to get it done in perfect weather here in December in Florida.